Hey, family, welcome back to another episode. So, I'm just gonna get right into it, guys. All right, so today's topic, we're gonna be talking about no is a good word. And I'm sure there's so many videos and podcasts, episodes about this, but I'm just gonna speak from my point of view because you can still have like maybe a similar topic, but everyone's experience is going to be quite different. So mine is going to be different. I know you guys have seen this so many times and everywhere else, but you haven't seen it here, so it's new here. Okay, so let's just get into it, right? All right, so already saying no, it sounds easy, right? When you don't have to say it, right? It sounds easy to tell someone, yeah, just say no, if you don't want to. But when it comes to your turn, it's a little hard because depending on the person, that word could be the hardest thing that you could have ever done in your life. I don't know why, but it is that. So I'm just going to give you a little backstory again, as usual. Uh, I'm just going to give you bits and pieces because, I can only remember bits and pieces here and there. I remember the first time that I didn't say no was when my I saw my parents struggling, right? And I remember I used to save a lot of money at a young age. Like I wouldn't spend a lot of money during break time at school and all that because somehow I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I needed to take care of my family. I was very young, like I guess in primary school. So I would like save money for food because I know like in the evenings, my dad would start complaining. It seems like he would complain to me that he's broke and he doesn't know what to do. He has no money. And I remember hearing him complain that he's suffering. And as a child, you just want, I don't know, I just had that thing of I needed to protect these people. Meanwhile, that was supposed to be the other way around. They were supposed to protect me. So from a young age, I feel like that's when it started. So I remember hearing all this whining and stuff. And then I would say, okay, you know what? You can take my money from my, piggy bank, right? So I'd collect coins and I'll put it in my piggy bank. And the fact that he didn't say no, it's okay, don't worry about it, babe, I'll make a plan, whatever. He actually took the money. And I remember we went to, I don't know if it was Nando's, but I feel like it was Nando's back then, but it was like a chicken place. So I remember he was not shy to use my coins to pay for our chicken meal, which was super weird now that I think of it and look back on it. Like, seriously? Anyway, so I remember so many times where I would feel so happy that I helped someone. And I think that's when that's the backstory, but I feel like that's when it opened a lot of doors for people to feel like they can tell me their problems and somehow I'm just going to save them. And for a long time, I started doing that. Would hear someone complaining and feeling all kinds of desperate, and they would ask me for help. And sometimes before they even asked me, I just offered to help them. But, many times they would ask, I'll just be like, sure, no problem. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, if you need help, I got you. I have your back. I will be there no matter what. Fast forward. I remember now in my adult years, it started really backfiring at me because I would do things for people and they'll like reject me or take advantage of me or just be so ungrateful. And I'll be like, okay, so that's not how it's supposed to work, in my mind. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work. Usually, when someone helps you, you're supposed to be grateful. So, for a long time, I felt like it took me a really long time to understand that, people are people. Most people are ungrateful and you shouldn't even care to think. I don't know. It's like you shouldn't even look for people to be grateful because if that's what you're looking out of helping people, you'll actually be disappointed. So that didn't register until probably I was in my 30s, because now I'm 31. So in my 20s, I'll be doing things for people, going out of my way to help people, trying to please people. And it just backfired so bad to the point where I actually felt physically ill. I was really sick for quite some time, and I didn't understand what was going on with me. And then I remember I guess distance myself from these people, because obviously you don't appreciate what I'm doing and all these things. And I started feeling like, okay, I've done my part. I've helped people. I've been the best that I could. And, that really didn't return. The favor wasn't returned, but it's cool. But now I'm more focused on me. So I've been living on my own for quite some time now. I mean, like 7 years now. So I remember people would just come from the blue. Like, I don't really give my numbers out. So however they would have found my number, I don't know. Or maybe they'll find me on social media and they'll just like, try and talk to me and all that. And then obviously my guard is already up. So I'm not interested in all that. And then probably I respond when they say hi, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, hi, how you doing? And then next thing they start talking about their problems, blah, 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 the usual stuff. And I'll just be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, sorry to hear that. And, I just leave it at that. And then you can tell they're kind of waiting for me to like maybe offer help or sympathy or sympathize with them or all kinds of stuff like that. And then I'll just like not even entertain it. And then eventually they'll just be bold and say, well, I need help. And then I'm like, yeah, no, I can't help you. And then I've said that so many times to where people would like be shocked. Like, did you just say no to me? Like, I need help. And I'd be like, no, I can't. And that's it. And I've had people use the Bible against me, like, God will punish you and all that stuff. You're so mean and you're this and that. And it's like, I literally just said no and you're acting a fool. Seriously. So I realized how painful it was for me to even learn how to say no, because the backlash, whew, it's a lot. Guys, the backlash is a lot. So it took me a while. I think I remember the first time I said no, I was sick. Like I could feel it in my tummy. Like I was so sick. I was scared. I mean, I felt so threatened. These people were like, oh, they were saying really horrible things about me. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope I didn't make a mistake, And something in me just said, well, if you continue entertaining this, you could get hurt. And so, yes, you're feeling pain. Yes, you feel sick, but this is the new you. So you have to embrace it. And they have to like get over it and get used to this new you, right? If you want to help, you will help. If you don't want to, then that's you. It took me about 2, 3, 4 years to finally feel like, oh, that's easy. I can say no if I'm not feeling it. If it's just not something, if I have to bend my back just to try and help you, it's a no. Unless you're someone that has really been, an important part of my life. If you've gone out of your way for me, yes, I will help you. But if you've done nothing, come on, guys. Right? Okay, so I've spoken enough about that. I think I've made my point. I want to give you guys, once again, the pros and the cons of saying no. Are you guys ready? So obviously, as usual, if you've been listening to my podcast, I will always start with the pros, because those are the good things that we want to hear first before we hear the doom, the bad news. Okay, so the first pro that I can think of, for saying no is you get to save your energy. Imagine just saying no and then that's it. You don't even have to explain anything. You're just like, yeah, no, I can't help you. I'm sorry. It's a no. And then they'll be looking to hear an excuse, like, why are you saying no? And then you don't owe anyone an explanation, because there's so many reasons. I've already calculated my reasons for not being able to help you, but I'm not going to like verbalize that unless maybe you're someone that really I care about and you really need a reason. And then maybe I'll be like, okay, yeah, because, I have to go there and there and I won't be available. So I'm sorry, I can't help you. But you can ask so and so. Maybe they can help you. But if it's someone you really could care less about, no, and keep it moving. Save your energy. So that's a good thing. You get to save your energy. The next thing I can think of is, oh yeah, I just said it. You're free from making excuses. Like seriously, like you eliminate so many things when you just say no. Because sometimes we have to create, like, especially if you don't have an excuse, now that's where the problem comes. Now you have to like think of something ridiculous, and then one day when they ask you, remember you said no to me because you're busy with this and that, and then you can't even remember because you were lying, right? So you eliminate excuses. The next pro that I can think of is, yeah, I've already said it. You don't need to explain yourself, especially if it's somebody that you really don't care about. You have, like, you don't owe them any explanation. The other thing, you avoid pretending. You know, some people fake it. Like they come, fake humble and all that stuff. And they just put up this act so you can give them what you want, and then they'll be like, well, whatever, and they go on about their business after you've given them what they needed. So now you get to eliminate that. You're not going to pretend. Like, look, if I'm not able to help you, that's it. Like, I'm not pretending, I'm not doing nothing. Keep it moving. The other thing I would say is a pro, you get to have peace, yeah, when you say no, I have peace because now I didn't waste my energy. I didn't have to like, bend over just to try and help you. I didn't have to like break my mind or break my head just to try and like figure out how am I going to help you and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm actually at peace and life goes on. The last thing I could say is, I think just to sum it all up, you get to protect yourself. Protect yourself from just doing too much and doing the most. And I feel like if we start with that, protecting your energy, because you can't do everything for everybody. So when you learn to protect and love yourself, because the funny thing is, I think we've been brainwashed to think that helping other people is supposed to be the first priority before you help yourself. But if you feel like whatever I'm about to do is going to hurt me, then why should I put someone else first, right? I should think about, what's this going to do to me if I'm now going to have to help this person with whatever ABC they've requested from me. So you have to calculate and think, okay. And I've realized how people they come with this sense of emergency and then try and trick you to just make a quick decision on the spot. And I don't think that's fair. Already that's a turn off, because you're asking for my help. Beggars are not choosers. Let me think about it, and if I can help you, I'll get back and say yes, I'll help you. And if I can't, at least I would have taken my time to think of, the pros and cons. Like, what am I doing, and can I do this, and all that kind of stuff. So protecting yourself should be always first, and then everybody else, you can deal with them once you know how to protect yourself. Okay, so those were the most amazing things, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the cons. The cons, oh my goodness, guys, it's hectic. So you have to weigh, are you strong enough to handle this? So I'm going to start with the first con that I can think of. People will take heavy offense in you saying no. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Have I ever taken offense in someone saying no to me? Absolutely. Absolutely. I even took it to heart. Like, how dare they say no to me? Right? So don't be shocked when people take offense, because it's like, yo, you just said no to me. So what? I'm supposed to be smiling? It hurts. So if you can handle that, girl or guy, you'll be good. You'll be good. The other thing I can think of is, you will create enemies, because some people just cannot take no. already they've already marked you as an enemy number one or number whatever, according to how many enemies they have. They've already marked it and they're like coming to get you, and they'll hold it against you so that maybe one day you're going to need help and they'll be the number one person to laugh in your face and to rub it all up in your face. So people like that, whoo, I would want to stay as far away from people like that. And such people, I wouldn't want them to know that I'm in need or I need help, because they could really go far with that. So yes. The other thing that I would think of that would be a con for saying no is people will hold you. They'll hold your no against you. I think I just mentioned that before. Like, they'll hold it, against you so that maybe one day, I mean, you already forgot about it. Like, anyway. And now life has passed and now you're asking for help. And then now all of a sudden, they remember the times you said no and blah, blah, blah. So always remember that. Another thing I can think of is you could lose friendships. Isn't that amazing? Just because you said no. I mean, you could actually lose a friend. Amazing. Like, I can't even explain any of that. It blows my mind. And I'm not even going to go into that. Have I lost friends when I said no? Absolutely. Because the fact that you said yes is probably what made them say, oh yeah, this is my friend. The moment you say no, hey, we're not friends anymore. So you know what to do after that. All right, so the next one I would say is you become a target for revenge. I think I've mentioned that already before. So the last thing I would say is your well-being can be threatened. And I think I've mentioned that before. Like, people will actually threaten your life just because you said no. That is amazing. So that's why I avoid like giving my contacts and whereabouts to people, because you become a real heavy target, especially if they know you're wealthy and you're living a good life, especially if they're suffering and they see, this person's life is so good. I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean you can't help me with this and that and that? Especially when it comes to money, like you better make sure you're not friends with people that are super broke. Not that broke people can be haters, but majority wise, yeah, you might stay away from that, and stay away from people that are always begging. That's where it starts. That's where you create enemies, when you always have people that are just looking up to you all the time. You need a balance. So guys, I hope you learned a thing or two on this episode, and I'm just going to leave you with my final word. Saying no is a good thing. Make sure you weigh the pros and cons and make sure you're safe, because some people can be threatened. Some people can threaten you, right? So you want to make sure you protect yourself in the process and take your time to think. Don't let someone rush you into saying yes. If it's a no, it's a no, right? And here's the thing that I've noticed. If someone is rushing me to say yes, that's an immediate no, because you're not giving me time to think. You're not giving me space. You're all up in my face. So it's a no for now, right? So always make sure you take time to think. Even if it's on the phone, if they say, oh, please, I need this, you know what? I'm going to call you back. Let me think about it. And if they don't give you a chance, no, sis, I can't help you. I'm going to leave it here. I think I've exhausted this point. Bye, guys. I'll see you in another episode. Cheers.